First of all, how was it that you kind of got into boxing, and what's your story really?
So I started boxing when I was about 15. I was kickboxing before that, so I kickboxed for a few years before that, but I was born with dislocated hips. So when it came to the kicking side, I was quite bad, to be honest with you. I was always running in with my hands. So yeah, just got into boxing, stopped the kickboxing after quite a few competitions, and went in full swing at boxing.
What age were you?
About 15, I think.
15,
15
when you
16.
actually had your first kind of competitions, you say?
I had white collar fights, yeah. I think I was 16 when I had my first white collar fight.
That's kickboxing, you say?
No, so I was kickboxing, and then I decided just to go straight into boxing because I was bad with my hip from the dislocated.
In regards to kickboxing, because I like kickboxing, we do a lot of MMA stuff as well, so obviously kickboxing is a great sport, but obviously the kind of financial aspect in it, unless you're massive, is not great. Was that one of the factors why you kind of I know you said about your dislocated hips and stuff, but if you had the chance, would you have continued like the kickboxing route?
To be honest, I enjoyed it, but I felt like there was something missing, and I don't know whether it was the fact that I couldn't kick as good as the other girls, or I think it was what happened with me is every single time I turned up to a fight, I was always the same. There was always the same opponents that you were fighting because they were very limited. Yeah. So I would always know who I'm like fighting, and it got same old. So I thought this was getting a bit boring. So that's when I started boxing, there was so much more of a range of opponents, loads of people in it. I was thinking, oh right, okay, so it's going to be a bit different. I'm not going to fight the same person. Obviously, as the amateurs, you do normally fight like the same person more than once, but I was thinking it's not always going to be that way.
What in regards to the actual like kind of the combat sport, it's not everyone's kind of cup of tea. So was there something that kind of like triggered your mind to think, right, okay, rather than play, I don't know, do badminton or something else, why combat sports?
I think. I'm not sure. I've always liked that sort of like adrenaline, and it's sort of like I like it because it's different. It's not like I used to play football and things like that, but this is different. It's a completely different kettle of fish, and I like the fact it's a little bit more risky. It's a little bit more different, and that's what made me fall in love with it. I think really.
Did you watch it much, like when you were growing up?
Yeah, I did watch it quite a bit. My brother was interested in quite a bit of boxing. Growing up, my dad was, so yeah, just sort of, you know. You hear of it, and I was thinking, oh yeah, it's boxing. And everyone used to say to me when I was kickboxing, why not boxing? They're saying, why are you kickboxing? Oh, you should go into boxing because I'm quite good with my hands. And so yeah, just thought, do you know what? I might as well take the plunge, try it. Literally, as soon as I stepped into the gym, it's like old men there going for their first white collar fight, and I thought, cool, I like this, bit of me.
What's your earliest memory of boxing?
Like, was the first...
do you remember like watching it on TV as a kid?
I think I was watching it a lot when Nicola Adams won gold at the first Olympics she won gold at, 2012. I think that's when I was watching that, it made me like, God, this looks good.
Yeah.
You know, I like the fact of sort of trying to hit and not get hit, the skill factor behind it, a lot of mindset behind it. I thought, yeah, this is good.
I think now as well, like women's boxing is obviously so much more popular, but it was not really kind of seen as a main thing like a few years ago, wasn't it really? I think kind of like Nicola, Katie Taylor.
Yeah.
Obviously Jane Counts was the first, but she had a lot of issues.
Yeah.
A lot of problems kind of, to turning pro.
Struggles and stuff like that.
But nowadays it's kind of like the new in thing kind of thing. So
yeah, nowadays it's completely different.
Let's talk about like your amateur career. You said like you kind of went down the white collar route.
Yeah.
What was it like having your first fight?
So I got approached by, so this was when I was with John, obviously John's an amateur pro trainer. I went to somebody called Mark Holden, who unfortunately his gym's had to fold due to this corona. But he sort of took my guidance, and he was like, oh, this woman's approached me to do a white collar fight, there's a bit of promo and stuff like that, do you want to do it? And I've been looking for a fight for ages, because I think I was about a year into boxing training, but I was always sort of fight ready anyway because of all my kickboxing experience. So I knew I wanted to fight in it and not just do it as a sport. And I was like, yeah, get me on. Literally went in, and it was the best experience of my life. Like, I was very nervous at the start because this girl was like an MMA champion. I think she was ranked a little bit higher than me because I hadn't even had a fight before. But put her down a few times, and just the feeling of it, I was like, getting back in. Marissa Shaolambus. Yeah.
And how was it afterwards? Like you winning for your first time?
The first thing. So I didn't even realise, but this camera crew was like following me after it, Like as soon as because it was all filmed, this stuff. Like obviously white collar has got a bit of buzz behind it. So
Yeah.
I did it. I was walking back up the steps and I was like, Mark, I want to go again. I want to go again. And that's like all you hear on this video. I want to go again. That's all I was saying. Like, I was going to sleep and I was texting him like, can you get me another fight? Can you get me another fight?
Where was it? Hell.
It was in London. It was in the Coco. So it was a big venue. Like fire breathers on the outside.
Yeah, the white collar
crazy.
scene's like massive.
Do you know what? I went into that, the white collar scene. Went into my first amateur fight. Like this little hall, which was completely different, but it's good. Do you know what? It's really good for charity and everything what they do. Like obviously the boxing side, there's a lot of ups and downs with it. It's like if I say I had somebody, say I had a daughter and they wanted to get into the boxing, I would never let them go down the white collar side. I'd just make them go amateur. But back then, I didn't know the difference between white collar, amateur, and pro. I just thought, I'd literally just Google boxing clubs near me. That one came up, so I went there.
So in total, how many actual white collar?
It's either 3 or 4. Can't remember. I think it was 4.
Was it in quick succession as well? Like you had them?
What?
Did the turnaround of your white collar fights?
Yeah. So I had them quite. So I had that one, which were at like year 4, and after that they all came in.
Yeah.
Because I won one of those like Mickey Mouse belts. You know those belts. So I won one of those, and then I was like the female that won this. So then you get all the other white collar girls wanting to take that belt. And I think it's like if you defend it 3 times or 2 times, no, you defend it twice, it's yours. So I defended it twice.
Like a British title.
Yeah, exactly. Back then I was thinking, God, I've got a belt.
Yeah. You still got it?
Yeah. This was a memory. It's just
Yeah.
All right, it's a memory, eh?
Well, what about your actual amateur career then? So we're moving on from white collar. Like, how did that transition happen?
So obviously I started learning a bit more about it, and people started saying, "Oh, you've got to go amateur." And in my head I was thinking, like, what even is? I didn't even understand what it was. So obviously, look, my coach, as a white collar coach, he was trying to get me to stay white collar, to progress in that. But me and my brother, we started looking into it more, and we started thinking where you can go in white collar, which was probably to get another Mickey Mouse belt. But I wanted to actually get stuck in and really do well. Because you know when you've got a love for something and passion for it, you think like, oh, I want to go for this.
Of course, yeah.
So I got in touch with John, and then John obviously introduced me to the gym. Then I got the GB coaches got in touch with me and wanted me on the GB squad. So I did that for 2 years as well. So I was 2 years on the GB team as like a development boxer. So I wasn't like the podium, but it was just the development, one underneath that.
That must have been some experience as well.
Yeah. So obviously I've gone from just having a few white collar fights, not even having amateur experience, to then was like come up on like, so I was going to Sheffield every week. Obviously I was lucky because John's an England coach anyway, and he's done a lot of GB himself, so he knew exactly where to put me. So I went on the squad for 2 years, travelling back and forth, but I got a lot of injuries. Unfortunately I had a broken wrist in like 3 places. I was knackered, like just injured. And I think it was from going from like a white collar boxer to training a couple of times a week to getting put right in the deep end, training 5 days a week, 3 times a day. My body just started crumbling. It was like stress fractures, I had a slip disc, everything sort of came on top of me. So for 2 years I couldn't even show them my true potential because I was always injured, and I kept getting really down about it. It's mentally tiring. I was like, John, like, I've got another injury, and it was actually just slowing me down really. I was thinking, what could I have done in 2 years? But I just kept getting injured because there was something that wasn't working. So I asked, when you come down to 2 years, 2-year contracts, they either choose to, like, you can either say you want to stay on it and you have a discussion if you can stay on it, or you can be released. And I just said, you know what, I'm injured, there's no point in me being on this squad, just keep coming up injured. So I said, can I be released? Got released, and then that was it. John was like, right, we've got the Haringey Box Cup, do you think you can do it? And he said, I've just come out of the cast. I was like, just put me in for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be that's the biggest tournament in Europe, so that's a big tournament to go straight into. And I was like, just put me down. Went in, stopped 2 of the opponents, and then the third one I beat her like easily. Just played around with it, came away with the gold medal, and I thought, right, do you know what I mean? This is better. Being under John's guidance, him training me when he knows, because John's very good. He knows when he needs to pick it up with me, and he knows when he needs to slow it down as well. So he just basically managed how I did the amateur ways, and it was perfect for me. Struggled to get a lot of fights, had a lot of pull-outs, so it was that due to that Haringey Box Cup. People watch it and everyone's there, and when you start winning fights from being somebody that's never even had a fight and you're beating these girls that have had a few, then do you know what I mean? People are like, oh yeah, she beat that person. So struggled to get fights after that. I think last year I only managed to have, well, last season I managed to have 6, I think. That was it. won 4 of them. 2 of them I lost in a split, but it was very, very close. Obviously, a split decision. Every fight I've won it unanimously, and the only 2 I've lost them in a split. So the only 3, I think it was 3. So
just going back slightly before we kind of like go on to your pro, or you know, you turned pro. What on the GB setup? What was it like training with all them kind of girls, and you know, what was, how did it help develop your game?
Obviously, like sparring. Even when you're hitting the bag and you've got somebody next to you that's been like maybe on the podium, something like that, and you're picking things up all the time. Even when I was injured and I was watching, I was picking things up. But I think that might have also been why sometimes some of my injuries were caused. For example, say I'd just broken my wrist, come out of the cast. Because when I broke my wrist, there was only 1 break in it. Then when I went back to have my cast off, there was another 2 breaks in it. So those 2 breaks I've done whilst I've been training. So I think like they're good as new now. I can hit rock solid now, do you know what I mean? And my hands could never hurt. I had a private doctor that fixed it, and they're good as gold. But I think what it was when I was hitting the bags, and you see somebody hitting it that bit harder, you feel like you're always on competition because there's always others that are your weight. So say there's me, there's probably 2 or 3 other girls that are my weight, and you're all wanting that spot. So that's probably why I was trying to outwork myself, even though I knew I was taking it too far. But you try and do the best of what you can to try and prove yourself there. But that has a bad side to it. Massive ups, the sparring, the strength and conditioning, everything. I think back then I saw what they have as a setup, the team they have, and now I've learnt that's the team I need. So now I've made sure I've got every single person that they had up there. I've got my own version of it here. So now I know I've got a nutritionist, I've got this, I've got that, got S&C, got manager, coach. Do you know what I mean? I'm set. So I learned a lot there.
Who, in your opinion, who's the biggest talent in the GB when you were there?
When I was there, female or male? Or
I meant female, but let's go both.
Yeah. So, you know what? It's difficult. Sandy Ryan, she's good. Yeah, Sandy Ryan.
Who's in with Sandy? She was working with Angel.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think she's doing. I'm sure.
No, I'm not. I don't think they're working together. But yeah, Sandy.
Yeah.
We were supposed to do something with Sandy actually. But yeah, she's nice.
Yeah, Sandy, I'd say.
Watching her live, like she had so much natural. You can just see it. It's just incredible.
But then there's obviously she was on like the podium. In terms of the developments, you had Amara. She was very good. She had gone in, we sort of went in together, and she was like a good friend. And then also you've got Ellie Scottney, she's just turned pro. And me and Ellie, we're mates, and Ellie's good. Sparred her a little bit. I'm sure we'll do some future sparring, because we're not too far off each other in terms of weight. She's turned pro, I've turned pro, so it'd be good to have some sparring with her. But yeah, they're all good, do you know what I mean? They're all brilliant, they're on there.
Was there good camaraderie there, or was there kind of like, I suppose there's some sort of kind of tension. It must be, you know, especially with the girls in the same weight and stuff like that.
It's females and males. Obviously, you're all. It's so like, it's crazy because you literally be so in there. You're literally in like houses. So there might be 3 or 4 in a house, and you're probably like you're sharing the same room. So there's 2 beds, and you're in the same room together. Or sometimes you'll have your own room. But when you're in the same room, they normally put the same weights together because then that's how they structure their plan. So like that house will be doing pads, that house will be bags, do you know what I mean? And then they rotate you. So you're literally sharing a room with somebody you're almost competing against. But it's like you're not competing against them on a one-off, you're competing against them almost all the time. When they're running, you're trying to outdo them because of the fact that you don't want them in the on it now and the boys that run it now, they're all competing now, for example, for like an Olympics or something like that, they're all trying to be in the coach's eye. So you always want to outdo everyone else in your way. It's difficult, it's very good, but it's hard, but then it's good. I really like competing, and I've always been like that, like playing football or even growing up, when you'd race somebody around like the block, I would race them 100 times until I beat the boys. Do you know what I mean? Because I've always had that competitive spark for me. So I quite like being on my feet with them.
Did you ever win this like ever kicking off like with like GB guys?
No, not really. I've seen a couple of them have a go at coaches, not mentioning any names, but I've seen a couple of the boxers maybe not get picked for a tournament, get a little bit like, "Oh, you've chosen that person," and it's like, just keep your head down, Laura, keep walking. But I have witnessed a few little things like that, but yeah, not going to mention any names.
So male talent, quickly. Who's your standout kind of there?
Do you know who's going to do really well? Jordan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Jordan's going to do well.
He just turned pro, didn't he, with MTK?
That's it. Yeah. He's under Pete Taylor. Jordan is going to do well, and the reason, obviously, he's got good talent and he's got very good passion. He's got good the way he's got put into the sport is amazing. The reason why Jordan will do well as well is because he's a very people's person. He's got a lot of people supporting him. He's got a bit different about him. Do you know what I mean? He's the sort of people that people want to follow, watch his journey, and they want to see him do well because he does a lot for other people. It's good. You don't see. Boxing's quite good because most boxers are like the most down-to-earth people you'll ever meet. People think they're rough and tough and they're this and they're that. Honestly, they go out their way for anyone. Any boxer, they're so disciplined.
It's quite a cliche, but there's so many that are like, you say, oh, he's such a nice guy, you can't...
Yeah.
You know, we've met so many on the circuit.
I can imagine.
It's you know, as you said, the opinion of boxers and MMA fighters, you know, is
people think you're like an animal.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it's
actually the opposite. It's the drunk louts that are kind of like
100%.
want to be the boxers. Kind of thing, so.
It's like I've had it a lot. Say I've gone out, right? I don't really go out now, but say I went out when I was 18, and somebody said, oh, so what you doing? I said, oh yeah, like I'm just doing a bit of boxing. They're like, oh right, really? Like, and they think. Not because of this or that, they think it because they think you're going to be some like rough and tough, do you know what I mean? That boisterous sort of person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? I don't look like the sort of person to be a boxer.
Yeah.
It's stereotypical. People think the person that's all rough and tough and built like this is the boxer, but they're wrong.
So turning pro, so obviously you're with kind of Johnny, the decision and stuff. So he's managing and training you.
Yeah.
What has he kind of suggested? With you, I know this coronavirus obviously had a massive impact in not just the boxing but the whole world. So, but I mean, within the next say 12 months, what would you like to kind of accomplish? For me, I just want to get active. Obviously, I've always trained to be ready because with me, as I say, I struggle to get fights. So if John, say for example, I was an amateur now, John had me on the phone now and said, there's an opportunity tomorrow, do you want to take it? I would never be like, oh, I haven't done this, I've cut this corner, I haven't done this. I've always been ready. So, but I've just never had the opportunities really, I've just struggled to get them. So, with the pros, I want to take it slowly, but I want to be as active as possible, but not like, I'm not Obviously what's happened, like the coronavirus and stuff like that, boxing's kind of, it sounds like there's going to be probably less kind of small ball shows for the next, I don't know, 6 to 12 months. One, does that kind of concern you? And two, are you know, would you kind of be prepared to like step up in opponents quicker than potentially rather than fight journeymen, I suppose?
Yeah. Well, obviously, with me, as I say, I just want to be active. Obviously, with what's happened, it is quite scary because like, I've turned pro, but in my head it's like, oh, when am I going to be boxing? With me, I'll never, ever say no to an opportunity. With me, I just take it as it comes. John's the one that would say no if something's too deep, but he wouldn't even tell me. So anytime the phone rings and John's like, oh, do you want to fight this, I'll just say yes, because to me, it's what I need. Hopefully, we'll be able to get something sorted in the near future as soon as possible. I would literally have it as soon as possible. But obviously, as you say, with everything, the situation's going on at the moment, it is going to slow down small ball shows.
Yeah.
So obviously, I might have to take a little bit of a bigger leap in terms of some opponents. But if I have to take that leap, I have to take that leap. John knows where to put me. John knows my capabilities, but he knows my weaknesses as well. So say there's a girl that steps up and there's an opportunity, but she's got this and this on me, he'll know to turn it down. Whereas if there's a girl that steps up, yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I'm all up for a challenge. I'll do a challenge, no problem. But he's the one that has to make the decisions because I'll train, do you know what I mean? No matter if it's a journeywoman or whether it's the world champion, I want to do the same amount of training, whoever it is. Yeah. So I'll let just John can make the decisions.
And obviously with your kind of, say contacts as well and your name, because obviously you've got a lot of followers on Instagram and what have you, you know, maybe the good opportunity, maybe a Sky Sports show, Frank Orange show or Hennessy show or some sort of kind of maybe TV show.
Exactly that, yeah. Well, luckily the thing with me is I can sell tickets. Yeah. Even as an amateur, for example, that Haringey Box Cup, I had loads of people come to that, and that was just like an amateur show. Do you know what I mean? So as soon as I start feeding the fact I've got a show, I'll be able to sell tickets, and hopefully I'll be able to get on the opportunities. But as I say, I'm not going to back down from anything. I'm not going to shy away from anything. I'll just take it as it comes.
I think your personality obviously clearly, shines through. Obviously, you've got a lot of followers and what have you on social media. I think already you've kind of got that box ticked, and
yeah.
I think it's just about trying to get the shows up and running. Really, I think.
Exactly that. As soon as they're up and running, I think as well, I'm a little bit of like an underdog. Do you know what I mean? Like people, because I haven't been able to show myself as an amateur, people don't know much about me.
Yeah.
But the thing is with an amateur, is that style, like, yeah, I did alright as an amateur, but as a pro, my style will shine through. And I think people are going to be a little bit like, oh, Laura did do well in that fight or that and that, because I quite like that. I like the fact that I haven't had this title and that title and that title, because the pros suit my style. John knows how to put me, that like he knows me down to a T, and he knows where to place me, and he knows what to do with me, and I know that I'm grounded, I know I'm disciplined, I know my head's screwed on, and I know that I know I'll do well with it as long as I follow the right guidance and don't go off track.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully it will all work out good.
Yeah, hopefully, and obviously we'll look forward to kind of seeing you, and hopefully on these small ball shows we'll get to film you and what have you, so that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that'd be fantastic. As I say, John knows where. Not going for the biggest fight there is, but we'll just take it step by step. But I leave all that to John. In terms of like opponents, like even as an amateur, he'll be like, "You're boxing this person." I wouldn't even look at the name. Wouldn't look at them. Wouldn't do anything at all. Because in my head, John knows where to put me. He's guided me throughout this whole thing. So I'll be stupid to not listen to him now. Do you know what I mean? This is where his real expertise comes in. He's been in the boxing game for ages. He knows there's a lot of growing to do. There's a lot of work to do. But he knows what I can work on and what I can do to make myself better, and that's all you can ask for, really.
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, I'm conscious of time. I just want to ask you quickly as well. Do you have some sort of plan that after your, obviously boxing is a very short career, do you have like a plan after or outside of boxing, what you want to do, or have like a fallback or contingency plan?
Well, obviously I want to train people a little bit, maybe do some female stuff as well. I think John's always said as well about maybe doing some stuff with like the females and the youngers here. But I want to try and help the people that are like struggling a little bit mentally and stuff like that. Get some clubs going, maybe go around a few schools, interested in a bit commentating. I'll do it. I can talk for England.
You want to kind of kind of stay in the sport.
100%. Stay in the sport. I've been like being a personal trainer and that, so I can always. It's good for me to fall back in personal training. But hopefully there won't be a need to fall back just yet. Yeah, hopefully we'll keep going. But yeah, I want to stay involved in boxing. It'd be weird now not thinking about it.
It sounds good. It's really, really good talking to you. I'm kind of conscious of time. The other guys are probably waiting as well.
They're probably wrapping up their hands, thinking they've got like in the bag.
Yeah, exactly. Before we go, do you want to like shout out your sponsors or anyone that you want to thank, and shout out your social media so more people can follow you?
Yeah, of course. So I want to say thank you to Smith & Butler and Restorio. They're my two main sort of sponsors. And then I also want to say a massive thank you to Dirty South, who sponsored me with my equipment, my gloves. Without that it'd be very hard, and also Empire Pro Tape, who sort me out with my wraps, all my tape and everything in that sense as well. So yeah, thank you.
And social medias?
Social media, my Instagram is @LauraPayne_, and my Twitter is @LauraPayne__.
Cool. And make sure to put that out on there.
No worries, that's fine.
So awesome, great.
Wicked. Thank
Cheers.
you. I appreciate it. Cheers.